folks. You're listening to Sipping Off the Cup on all of our channels and platforms and networks. I'm Mike Morales here in the heartbeat of the San Gabriel Valley. That guy out there is
Rick Levy down at the end of the San Pasqual Valley.
in Southern California. Rick and I have been, let's put it this way, we have been intrigued and waiting to taste and dissect this tequila, Juan de Leon. And yes, that there is a real person named Juan de Leon. As a matter of fact, you can follow them on Instagram, and you can actually meet Juan de Leon. He's like he's the next world's most interesting man. Anyway,
that's not to say the second most interesting man, right? He's the next most interesting.
Most interesting, yeah.
All right.
Because the first one's kind of semi-retired at this point.
Right.
Anyway, you may have seen this on social media. It's been rocking social media a lot heavily. And Juan seems to be a really interesting character. He's been, in Oaxaca, in Tequila, in Mexico, and even skateboarding. So you can follow. And I think today, I wasn't available to hear it, but I guess he was on radio this morning. By the time you see this, folks, it could be November. All right, this is the beginning of August for us. Anyway, as usual, we're going to taste the juice first. Then we're going to tell you all the ins and outs and tell you where it's coming from. And I wanted to make sure that Rick got these in particular because their hometown is Amatitan. And Amatitan. And we know how much we love Amatitan. So.
Oh, it's so distinctive.
It's so distinctive. So I'm going to pour mine in a Stasso Jarrito. I did.
Stasso Jarrito.
To be completely honest, I have had a little bit, not a lot. I can't remember what the hell it was. I've had my bottles long before Rick did. So we're gonna.
First time for me.
They were sitting in my living room for weeks till the folks at Juan de Leon made this happen. As a matter of fact, the reason for the holdup, we would have had these folks on sooner, is my understanding is that they have a line of 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 tequilas that we're going to do today. 5, folks. That's not a record because Alex and I have done at least 9 in one sitting at several occasions. But
of the same brand, though.
No.
I think you and I may have the record for the same brand with our marrow.
That's right. We did our marrow, and and now I guess they got some kind of celebrity guy who's helping them out now. I don't know. That alert came across my desk yesterday, day before. So kudos to our marrow. In the meantime, this is Juan de Leon, and it's pristine. I'm not even sure you guys can see that on my screen. You might. It's like late, it's kind of like the late afternoon. Oh, there we go. Nice legs and tears. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, gorgeous on the glass.
Very pretty.
What is going on there?
Oh, nice. Yeah, very nice.
Oh, you could just sit here and watch that for a while.
Nice string of pearls. Nice.
You know, we're now in like the 5th year of the pandemic. We've all watched everything on TV. Just pour a glass of this and watch it sheet on the glass.
Yeah. Literally, it's streaming.
It's the new version of streaming. There you go.
Streaming. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. I got very green and vegetal is what I got.
Right.
Like right up there with a little bit of lime zest or citrus or something.
Right, absolutely.
Boy, that didn't take long, did it?
No, it just jumped right up out of the glass. Now, you and I reviewed Kostiv. Well, this might be getting a little ahead of ourselves here, but you and I reviewed Kostiv last October from the same distillery. And,
right. We'll give you the name of the number and name of the distillery here shortly, but it's a very small distillery. There's maybe five or six brands coming out of there. So number one, that tells me that Mr. Juan de Leon knows a little bit about tequila, probably enough to find a really small distillery to make it the way he wants it. And it's a Matitan. That's a plus for me. So for us, Rick and myself.
Yeah, we'll be expecting some minerality on the palate.
It's very deep and green, though. It's very
absolutely
very vegetal. It's
grassy vegetal with that lime zest that you were talking about.
Yeah. And now I'm getting like lime and lemon zest. Here we go. It's opening up a little bit more too, and of course we're in Southern California, but it's room temp here, and depending on how long my halogen stays on, it could warm up very shortly. I say we dive in. I got it. The minerality's in the center. There it is at the bottom in the center.
I can't wait.
Just slightly. Shall we?
Salud.
There we go. Well, that's for sure.
Oh, it's got a fantastic viscosity.
Yeah, it's very rich on the palate, on the tongue. The legs and tears are not clingy; they're just nicely streaming. But there's a really good structure on the tongue and the palate, and I didn't get like a pepper explosion. It was still green and vegetal, and probably more minerality. Did you get the minerals through the rear of the palate?
Yeah. I'm getting some pepper on the back of the palate. I'm getting some nice warmth. It's not a burn. It's not hot.
That's called a finish, folks. That's a finish. I like to refer to it as the warm fuzzy.
Right.
Especially when we do mezcals and raicillas, it's the warm fuzzy it's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, the texture on the palate is
yes.
It's really nice. It's almost buttery.
That's the word I was looking for. It's not silky, but it is buttery. There's a substantial mouthfeel. Alex calls it a mouthfeel, and it's the structure. And it's funny because it's not in the nose. You just don't know by the nose or even by the looks
right.
Going to ingest. Wow.
You might get a cue from the legs and tears and the way it coats the glass, because we did remark about that right away.
Mm-hmm.
And so that, the texture really follows through on that. But you wouldn't expect it from the aroma.
The aroma's pretty one-sided. There's not a whole lot of layers in the aroma.
Right.
But the palate, the intake, and all that, it all happens at mid-palate. And it wasn't as sweet going in, though. Did you find it was kind of sweet? But no, it's pretty indicative of anything coming out of a Matitan.
Yeah, we've had tequilas out of a Matitan where the minerality really kind of multiplies the spiciness, the pepper effect, and both of those are there in this, but they aren't necessarily building on each other. They complement each other.
Yeah. Let me give you the ins and outs, just so we're clear on where this is coming from. Okay, it's a small distillery, easy number to remember, 1,500. It's called Tequilera Las Juntas. Las Juntas could be a co-op, Kostiv comes out of there, which you and I had very early this year or late last year, actually.
Yeah, I grabbed
There
the
it
bottle
is.
here.
Yeah,
There you
and
go.
that right now that brand is going great guns. Cien Rifles, La Dueña, which I'm not even sure there was a telenovela a few years back called La Dueña. I'm not sure if that's related. There's a. Did you say that they export to Japan? Because would they have a Japanese tequila here? It's got Shizuko.
Yeah,
Shizuku.
when I was looking up the distillery, I found some business information, and it looked like they exported to Japan in addition to the U.S. I'm not 100% on that. I wasn't paying a lot of attention to it, but if I recall correctly, as I was skimming, I picked that up.
Well, Kostov, to my knowledge, Kostov, the owner, is named after the owner, and it sounds like a vodka. I think he's. I'm not sure if he's a Russian national, but the surname is Russian. So it's a small but international distillery. Um, and I'm not sure if the bottle tells us anything because we know nothing about the process. Here's what I do know. All right, I can only fill you in on what I do know. These bottles were both hand delivered. Both sets were hand delivered to us. I had a chance to speak to one of the gentlemen, both of the gentlemen actually, that brought this out to me. And what I found out was that they being Juan de Leon and whoever his partners are, if indeed he has partners, um, are going to probably they have plans to expand into the distillery, to expand production. Um, they seem to be well funded if they have five varietals, five expressions already. I'm not sure. I've not spoken to Juan de Leon. We've communicated, on their Instagram a little bit. Um, but not a whole lot. He's kind of a jet setter, but but I got to tell you,
The
they
bottle's quite handsome,
yeah,
and
the
I
bottle is
really
fancy.
like the labeling.
I do too. I love the logo. It's a
And
raised.
I'm not sure if you can tell from the sheen here, but there is some raised printed accents on the
Yes,
artwork that is quite fetching.
yeah,
And the bottle,
on the font and
you could you could defend your ranch with this bottle. It's
yeah,
substantial.
it's got some sharp shoulders on that bottle. It's 80 proof, 40 ABV, 100% blue agave. Again, other than that, I don't know. Look at they even have the Aztec lion
Yeah.
here, kind of a
They
spooky.
talk about wanting that it's partially handmade. I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean. It They talk about wanting to follow a traditional artisanal process. Um, but then another bit of information is that they said they chill it to freeze out impurities, and then it's bottled immediately after distillation, which you probably have to take that with a grain of salt there because it's not like it's coming right out of the still into the bottle because if they're freezing it, they can't do that until after it's out of the still. But
Yeah,
I think they're saying they're not resting it prior. They're just doing this sort of cold filtration.
yeah, that's probably what it is. It's the cold filtration. And it's funny because Rick and I are probably one of the few that enjoy the minerality from the Amatitan region. We've had some great tequilas. Azuñia, old Azuñia used to come from there. Regional, if you could find it, that was outstanding. Um, there are several others that he and every time I find one that says Amatitan on it, I try to get Rick involved because we've fallen in
I
love with
love it.
this.
I
Yeah,
love it. It's
uh, the minerality, the volcanic the soil. There's something about that region that really is distinctive
yeah.
from the Golden Triangle that's up in the highlands a little bit, just a little bit further up the highway. Um, and what I wish I knew, it doesn't taste to me like they're using a stone oven. It tastes to me like they're using an autoclave because it's very, very green.
Right.
But I'm not sure. I don't know. We don't know anything
And
about this.
this distillery, even for its size, it seems to have all of the equipment. It has a masonry oven as well as an autoclave.
Okay.
It has both copper and stainless steel stills. They have both open wood fermentation and stainless steel fermentation.
No kidding.
So,
That
you
sounds to
know,
me like there's one other tequila that Matt and I had that's very similar. The distillery looks like it's small, like there's only a few brands coming out of it, but they have the facility to be able to accomplish all that. So we don't know if this is a blend. We don't know if they're, it's half autoclave, half oven, uh, copper. I, and
with
there's,
with how green the agave presence is, it would lead me to think that they're probably not. If I had to guess, I would say that they're not using the masonry oven.
yeah,
That's not to say that they're not doing a slow cook in the autoclave.
yeah,
It doesn't mean they're rushing it,
no,
but the character of the agave doesn't necessarily seem like what's revealed in an oven baked agave.
yeah. But I will say, I was getting back to the Amatitan region. A lot of these tequilas that come from there, they do stuff like oxygenate. They chill filter. They try to do whatever they can to round out the edges. And honestly, I wish they wouldn't, because
Yeah,
the edges are what makes it a beautiful tequila to begin with. I mean,
yeah. Any tequila out of Amatitan shouldn't try to subdue that. They should
well, even the
accentuate it.
original Partida used to come from a Matitan, and that was like, oh my God! If you could find those old bottles, you've hit pay dirt, because it doesn't
Yeah.
taste like that anymore.
Now they say they're growing their agaves right at the base of the Tequila volcano, which Amatitan is very close to the base of the volcano.
Yep.
But and then I believe they may have said that they're using deep well water, and of course the water there has very high minerality.
Yeah, and it's probably